Welcome to the new book releases for the week of April the 5th. These are an interesting mix, and we will have timestamps between each genre so you can click around to whichever is your favorite. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, I hope you find something you want to pick up. We're starting the week out on sci-fi, and our first book is Overgrowth by Myra Grant. This is just a story. It can't hurt you anymore. Since she was 3 years old, Anastasia Miller has been telling anyone who would listen that she's an alien in disguise as a human being, and that an armada that left her on Earth is coming for her. Since she was 3 years old, no one believed her. Now, with an alien signal from the stars being broadcast around the world, humanity is finally starting to realize that it's already been warned, and it may be too late. This one sounds really cool. And also, I think this is by an author who's written stuff before, and this is just a pen name they're using as they're in a different genre. And I don't remember the author's name, but I read that when I first heard about the book. We'll move on to fantasy now with A Letter from the Lonesome Shore by Sylvie Catherall. This is the second in the Sunken Archive duology. The first book was something from the Luminous Deep. It says, E is content with a solitary life in her extraordinary underwater home until the discovery of a strange, beautiful creature outside her window prompts her to begin a correspondence with a renowned scholar, Henry Creel. The letters they share are filled with passion, at first for their mutual interests and then, inevitably, for each other. After a mysterious seaquake destroys E home and she and Henry vanish, a year later, E's sister Sophie and Henry's brother Virian must piece together the letters, sketches, and field notes left behind and learn what their siblings' disappearances might mean for life as they know it. And the second place is taking place another half a year from the point of most of this book, and possibly from all four perspectives. And it is more a literary fantasy cozy, and it takes place in the form of a lot of the letters. The letters are kind of telling the story of the correspondence between the siblings and our main characters. Then we have Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. The masked guild knight Yeva was 13 when she killed her first dragon. With her gift revealed, she was shipped away to the imperial capital to train in a rare art of dragon slaying. Now, a legendary dragon hunter, she has never truly felt at home, nor removed her armor in public since that fateful day all those years ago. Yeva must now go to Quanbo, a fiercely independent and reclusive kingdom. It is rumored that there, dragons are not feared as right and proper, but instead loved and worshipped. It is rumored that there they harbor a dragon behind their borders. While Yeva searches for the dreaded beast, she is welcomed into the palace by Quanbo's monarch, Lady Suki. Though wary of each other, Yeva is shocked to find herself slowly opening up to the beautiful, mysterious queen. There was supposed to be some sort of a romance aspect there, but also it sounds very weird that politicalness, they're going to say another kingdom can't, harbor dragons. Into the possibly biggest section of this week, and that would be our various YA books. The first one is more YA fiction. This is the third book in Somebody Dies at the End. The third book is The Survivor Wants to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I really should have copied the series name so you could hear it. They all do follow different characters, though. However, I'm not sure how much of this might have to do with the others that would be spoilers, so I'm only going to read a very little bit that says who the main character of this one is. Paz Dario stays up every night waiting for the deathcast call that would mean he doesn't have to keep faking his way through this lonely life. After a devastating day, Paz learns he's done waiting around for deathcast. If they say he's not dying, he'll just have to prove them wrong. But right before Paz can die, a boy saves his life. And so this has to do, obviously, with people who might be terminally ill, and relationships, and growing up. Then our YA thriller, The Thrashers by Julie Soto. Either you're in or you're out. Welcome to The Thrashers, an elite friend group at New Helvetia High. They're everything everyone wants to be. Jody Dillon was never meant to be one of them. Julian, Lucy, Paige, and the infamous Zach Thrasher are rich, sophisticated, and love attention. Jody feels out of place, but Zach's her childhood best friend, so she's in. Then Emily Mills, who desperately wanted to be a Thrasher, dies, and the whispers about the Thrashers begin. As Emily's journal surfaces, detectives close in, and Jody faces an impossible choice: betray her friends or protect herself. So it's got a lot of vibes of cool, interesting things. Our next one is, I don't know which one this classifies as better. It's maybe a tense suspense and or more fiction. All We Lost Was Everything by Sloane Harlow. When 18-year-old River Santos' house burned down, she lost everything: her clothes, her guitar, her songbook. Most importantly, she lost her father. But when someone anonymously donates $2 million to her GoFundMe, it's like she's won the worst of sort of lottery. She's a millionaire, but at what cost? With every person who comes into the diner where she works, she wonders, was it you? The only person she sure didn't donate the money is her extremely hot and extremely standoffish coworker, Logan Evans. Ever since he started at the diner, he's acted like he hates her, which is why she's shocked when he helps her save face in front of her ex. After the fire, River thought she'd hit rock bottom, but as it turns out, there's always more to lose. I think the light changed. During that one, so that's fun. Okay. And then more YA fantasy is the first in a duology, The Lost Queen by Amy Fan. Jolie Lam, a high school sophomore in San Jose, is known for two things: her bizarre freakout at last year's swim meet and her fortune-teller grandfather with visions of dragons and earthquakes. Friendless and ostracized, Jolie's life takes a dramatic turn for the better when she saves the school's it girl, Hong Fam, during an haunting vision of her own. Taken under Hong's wing, Jolie's world transforms in more ways than one. And as the girls grow closer, they begin to discover more things and more abilities that they have. And it ties them into some ancient Vietnamese lore and prophecies. And there's a lot. The reviews are really good on this, and the light changed again. We'll move on to romance, and I'm sorry if the lights keep doing something weird. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I never anticipated Charlie Forlick. Good things happen at the lake. That's what Alice's grandmother says, and it's true. Alice spent just one summer there at a cottage with Nan when she was 17. It's where she took that photo. The one of 3 grinning teenagers in a yellow speedboat, the image that changed her life. Now, Alice lives behind a lens. As a photographer, she's most comfortable on the sidelines, letting other people shine. Lately, though, she's been itching for something more. And when Nan falls and breaks her hip, Alice comes up with a plan for them both. Another summer at that magical place, Barry's Bay. But as soon as they settle in, their peace is disrupted by the roar of a familiar yellow boat and the man driving it. And this is a contemporary romance, so of course things will go in directions. This next one I have seen being advertised around, and one of the things said it is Katniss for adults. As in, like, Katniss Everdeen for the Hunger Games. And I get why they're trying to make that similarity in some regards, but it also doesn't feel accurate. Does it sound interesting on its own? Sure. Maybe more paranormal romance. It's definitely not romantasy sounding. So I'm going to go with paranormal romance and dystopian fiction. This is Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Trust no one. Rin Darlington has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Rin is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of an enemy and she's forced to join their most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. Lie to everyone. But training for the Silver Block can be deadly, especially when you're harboring dangerous secrets and living in close quarters with everyone who wants you dead. And whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. So many aspects sound really, really good, and I'm thinking about trying to find it, like put it on hold at the library or something to read maybe in June, and we will find out for sure. Into the thrillers for the week, we have another book this year by Frida McFadden. I don't know how she gets out so many books. The Tenant by Frida McFadden. There's no place like home. Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as VP of Marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on his new brownstone he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Enter Whitney. Beautiful, charming, down-to-earth, and looking for a room to rent, she's exactly what Blake's looking for. Or is she? Because something isn't quite right. The neighbors start treating Blake differently, and there's a weird smell that no matter how much he scrubs, he can't get rid of. I still haven't tried this author, and I don't know if this will be the first one I try by them. I really got to come up with which one I want to try first. probably her popular Housemaid series, but I want to try a standalone first as well. That way I don't have to commit to a series. Then we have The Missing Half by Ashley Flowers. Nicole Nick Monroe is in a rut. At 24, she lives alone in a dinky apartment in her hometown of Mishawaka, Indiana. She's just gotten a DWI, and she works for the same dead-end job she's been working in since high school, a job she only has because her boss is a family friend and feels sorry for her. Everyone has felt sorry for her for the last 7 years, since the day her older sister Cassie vanished without a trace. On the night Cassie went missing, her car was found over 100 miles from home. The driver's door was open and her purse was untouched in the seat next to it. The only real clue to her disappearance was Jules Connor, another young woman from the same area who disappeared in the same way 2 weeks earlier. But with so little for the police to go on, both cases eventually went cold. And now, Jules' sister has reached out to Nick and offers a little bit of hope, and the women, go on a hunt to try to reopen the case and find new information about their sisters. A thriller with a bit of a horror touch mixed in, The Nightbirds by Christopher Golden. Charlie Book and Ruby Cahill have history. After their love ended in heartbreak years ago, they never expected to see each other again. Now, as part of his work for the Texas Park and Wildlife Department, Book lives aboard the Cristobal, a 19th century freighter half sunken off the shore of Galveston. Over many years, a massive forest of mangrove trees has grown up through the deck of the ship, creating a startlingly beautiful enigma Book calls the floating forest. As a powerful storm churns through the Gulf, he intends to sleep on board as usual. But when he arrives at the dock, he's stunned to find Ruby there waiting for him, and she's not alone. With her are a mysterious woman and her infant child, asking Book to hide them safely aboard the Cristobal while they're on the run. Only it isn't the police who are after him. It's a coven of witches. The woman, May, has fled, stealing away the helpless infant for whom the coven had hideous plans, or so May claims. And as the storm is hitting the ship and they're surrounded by the weather, things get more and more intense and crazy. Finally, our fictions for the week, starting with My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Most people don't even notice them, 3 tiny figures sitting at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people think it's just a depiction of the sea, but Louisa, an aspiring artist herself, knows otherwise, and she's determined to find out the story of these 3 enigmatic figures. 25 years earlier, in a distant seaside town, a group of teenagers find refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days on an abandoned pier, telling silly jokes, sharing secrets, and committing small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up each morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. And this story goes from there, and probably as usual, any Bachman books are going to be highly emotional and hit you in the feels and be wonderful. Have I read them yet? No, because I don't want to be emotionally hit like that. Then we have The Names by Florence Knapp. In the wake of a catastrophic storm, Cora sets off with her 9-year-old daughter, Mia, to register her son's birth. Her husband, Gordon, a local doctor, respected in the community but a terrifying and controlling presence at home, intends for her to name the infant after him. But when the registrar asks what she'd like to call the child, Cora hesitates. Spanning 35 years, what follows are 3 alternate and alternating versions of Cora's and her son's young son's lives, shaped by the choice of name. In richly layered prose, The Name explores the painful ripple effects of domestic abuse, the messy ties of family, and the possibilities of autonomy and healing. Not exactly split timeline, but alternating versions depending on what name she picks for her son. Those are all the books I have for you this week. Maybe you found one you want to pick up. If you know of any other ones coming out that I didn't mention, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. I hope you're having a fantastic day, finding something great to read, and I'll see you in the next one.